Bite my tongue? Never. See, what they don't know is they're tuning in to DBYC podcast, and I'm just discovering the world around me.
Taisha, I love you.
It be like God is telling you to keep going.
You quit on yourself, you really down bad.
Tune in Wednesdays at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Welcome everybody to Behind Closed Doors with your host Taisha. This is a DBYT Productions production, cool. And basically this is a series of 20-year-old somethings confessing things about their life and me commentating on them. So with that being said, let's get into it. Come give it to me. So today we actually have our first guest who is going to share their experience while in a abusive relationship and how it kind of got out of hand, how they handle it and everything. Personally, I have never been in a abusive relationship. At least a physical one, maybe an emotional one. That's neither here nor there, you know. You could say it was, I don't know if mentally and emotionally goes together, but we can put it together for, you know, for today. But I have had people in my life go through the stages of an abusive relationship, and I've always had to be that person to be there for them. And honestly, I have felt like they had made it to a point where it was normal for them. So they had got used to the insults and the derogatory like tone that their partner would take with them, or the demeaning tone. However, they were downing them and making them seem like small. And being someone who doesn't really do that, like, you know, like have somebody who's usually controlling me or something like that to that extent, it was hard for me to understand, like, how could you stay? And so it would frustrate me a lot to be that person who's like, don't you see, can't you see, why aren't you leaving, when these situations kept arising. I would have to basically learn, like, hey, this is not about Taisha right now, it's about them. So in order for me to be a good friend, I had to let go of all of what I believed and just be there for them and let them learn their lesson through their experience, because it's only fair. Because if you look at it, it's like, well, you got your chance to do what you want to do, let me do what I want to do, let me live, let me woo, and that's what you got to do at the end of the day. So yeah, when you speak your mind, you gotta expect that tension will come with this, because that's their life. They're gonna live it how they want to, just like you're gonna live yours like you want to. And that's really all I have to say about my personal experience in abusive relationships. I was never the person in there. I was more so the person who was just the go-to person, like, hey, I'm in a situation, or not even them coming straight to me. It was more so like, I notice things, and I may even confront them, or just notice that, hey, you're changing a little bit. Like, what is they doing to you, you know? Because it's not always a man abusing a woman. It can also be, in the case, a woman abusing a man. So that is not as popular, or as, I don't know the word right now, but it's not common. Yes, it's not common for men to speak out against women when being abused, but it's definitely a thing that happens. So at the end of the day, love them unconditionally and do that. So we're going to get into the recording that was sent to me by someone about their relationship. And I want to warn you guys that it does get personal. It may be a trigger for some people who have been through a similar situation, or for someone who may know someone that they love that has gone through a situation like this. So, but here we are very ingrained in the importance of sharing experiences to help the next person out. So hopefully it helps someone realize or help someone identify what is actually going on in someone else's life. So behind closed doors, tell me how you feel.
Behind closed doors, I was abused. This was both mentally and physically. And it was a position I never thought I would be in. Never would I ever picture myself allowing someone to degrade me in that manner. I was always the one to say, oh, if they even raise their hand at me, I'm leaving. But it wasn't the case. I think at first, when it happened, I was shocked. And I made excuses. And by the third time it happened, I still didn't want to leave because I truly thought I could change them. And, those excuses that, hey, maybe they had this that happened to them. And, I just want to be someone better for them and all this other stuff. And then when it became too numerous to mention, why didn't I leave? Because I was scared for my well-being. I felt trapped in it, and I felt trapped to feel free. I never thought I would be in that situation where I literally could not breathe. And I was isolated from everyone I love, family and friends. And it went both ways. At first, because I didn't want anyone to worry about me and that I could take care of myself. And I didn't want to be a burden to people. And then the other half of it is that it made me feel so bad just for talking to people that I loved. Well, not loved, well loved. And they would just isolate me from everyone while they enjoyed their life. And it continued to grow and grow and grow. And there's always going to be a straw that breaks the camel's back. And I finally was able to leave. And when I left, I felt better than I've ever felt in my entire life. I felt like I could finally breathe for once. And I didn't really want to share this story with anyone because, as I said, this is something I wanted to just be my story between me, myself, and I. However, there might be someone listening, someone out there who knows that they're with someone who doesn't align with them, doesn't align with your purpose, does not fill you with what you need to be filled with. And I'm telling you right now to let it go. And that is easier said than done. Trust me, I know. But I don't know what would have happened if I stayed. And I don't want it to become a situation for you if you stay and you're just a little too late. If you had just left a little earlier, you would have been alive. And I'm sorry I have to get this way. You just don't know what people are capable of. Love is beautiful. It does not hurt. And if you're hurting consecutively, constantly, just always hurting, then it's time to let it go. It's time to talk to someone. It's time to get help. And it's time to let that be a thing of the past. It's time to be selfish with yourself. Because you only have one life. And it shouldn't be just wasted. Wasted on someone who doesn't know your potential. And it's not even about potential, your worth. They're not grateful to have your presence in their life. They have to go. So behind closed doors, I was abused into the world. I smiled and I isolated myself. But I blamed it when people asked. I would say it was work. I would say it was school. The point I'm trying to make is, what excuses are you making for someone else to keep hurting you? When are you gonna learn to be selfish with you?
All right, and we're back. I just want to say off rip, that was mad powerful, and I know it was probably extremely difficult to conjure up that, because I felt it. I heard it in your voice, and I just want to thank you for sharing your story with us and being brave enough to do that. I know how hard it is to open up personally, so I commend you for that, and I am proud of you, and I am looking forward to see you surpass this point in your life and seriously just get what you deserve and know your worth, you know what I mean? I just want to see you grow and be treated correctly, and for you to live a happily ever after, because honestly, I know you're such a beautiful person, and you didn't deserve what you got, to be honest. So yeah, I do want to dive into the most important parts of this person's recording. Spoke on mentally and physically being abused. Obviously, like I said in the beginning, I have almost 0 to none experience with the physical part, but mentally, people will toggle with you, and it doesn't feel good, it is common for people not to think that they would be in a situation where they are literally being handled by someone. So that's not uncommon. That's very common, actually. Thinking that they could change someone for the better was actually putting them in danger, staying with this, I'm gonna call him a monster. So yeah, we're gonna call you a monster person. You had no right in doing that, making someone feel so insignificant that they felt like the only thing that could make you happy was them, and even then that wasn't enough for you. So yeah, people will manipulate you and make you seem like they can't live without you, or they start threatening you or threatening to kill themselves, or even to an extreme part of, I'm gonna hurt somebody else if you don't do what I say type thing. it gets to that point. I've seen it, and it's selfish. I honestly hate it. But honestly, at the end of the day, I'm glad you had the strength to up and leave the situation, because I don't know how many people will actually do it. It's just like, yeah, I didn't expect to be in this situation, but since you was in there and you realize that, and you realize the strain it put on you and your family and your friends, that is so important, because so many people get trapped. And like you say, you don't know when your last day is going to be, for real. So thank you for being so brave to up and leave, honestly. And I like that you said, if it doesn't serve a purpose, let it go. And I have a little saying, I say, let love in, let love grow, let love go. Now, those are basically just 3 stages that you could be at any time and point in your life. So you just got to know what to do and when to do it, you know. But that's all personal and everything. But I just love to say all that to say, check on your friends. If they're being a little bit distant, if you don't see them as often, or if you're not talking to them as often, check on them. To us, text messages are not going to hurt you. It doesn't matter if you feel like, oh, a phone works both ways. It does. But when someone is getting manipulated or abused like that, they are not trying to bring attention like that. They are scared. And no, it's not your job to make sure that everybody's okay. But if that person is important to you, you let everything else go and you make sure you do what you gotta do. You know, that's just what it is. I do want to speak on some common signs of abuse and what to do in those situations. And I did do this research on YouTube, and I got the first set from BetterHelp, and I got the second set from Psych2Go. I love psychology and I just love research. So we're just gonna run through these real quick. And yeah, number 1 from BetterHelp was controlling behavior. These are signs of an abusive relationship. They always trying to control you, no matter what. Control who you talk to, who you be around, where you go, how long you're gone for, type things, like who you talking to, da 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 da. Controlling behavior, get away from it. It's not good. People should have an equilibrium on who they are, like who they want to be and who they decide to be with. Like, that person does not have the remote control to your life. And as they say, period. Yeah, mind games and gaslighting, they will make you seem delusional. You know good and well what's in here and what's in here, and they, you know, they match. And people will definitely try to make it seem like you don't know what you're talking about. But please stay strong, because you definitely do. Number 3 from BetterHelp was exclusion from decision making. Oh baby, you're not making no decisions. You have no say so. Like, I feel like everybody should have that in a healthy relationship. And I know sometimes it can be hard, because as women, sometimes we feel like, oh, I need a man to take charge. There is a difference from taking charge and taking over. Know the difference. Controlling money. He don't want you to work, probably because he wants you to be dependent on him. A lot of men thrive on that power gauging. So if you have nothing and they have it all, you need them to get what you need and what you want, therefore giving them authority and power, which they take to the head. Yeah. And I'm gonna just do 5 and 6 together, which is threats and blame. They will threaten you. They will threaten the ones you love. They will blame you. They will never blame themselves. They ain't got time for that. Because everything that happens, your fault. Especially if it's wrong. Lord, they're going to blame it on you. Now, what I want for, what to do in those situations if you or a loved one is in that situation. I'm going to run this super quick. No explanation. Don't judge. Support them and know, let them know that you're there for them if they need you. That's plain and simple. Be sensitive about the topic. Do not ram, especially if you have a big personality. Do not do that. You will push them away way quicker than what you think, because they're not trying to hear all that. You have to be gentle when you approaching the situation, because I said no explanation, but I needed a little explanation, okay? But don't do that. It's not gonna help you. At any given time, if your friend is not feeling their best, please boost them. Boost their head up. Send them to the moon. Send them to Pluto, and back. Round trip. Pay for that. Do that for your friend. Are you hearing me? Do it for your friend. Say you beautiful. Say you love them. Say you support them. Let them know. Show them that you are there for them, bro. Like, they need that. Anyways, if you have experience, share it with them. Sometimes they might not even ask for it, but just be like, bro, do you remember a time when I was going through X, Y, and Z and da whoop whoop? That's all you gotta do. Start a conversation. Do that. Always check on them. Don't leave them when things seem like they aren't moving, because they could be taking micro steps to their progression. They could be taking the necessary steps to be the person that they need to be in order to conjure up enough strength to leave. Don't give up on them. Check on them all the time. Like, it don't matter. Like, just make sure they good, especially if that's your dog, for real. And if all else fails, for real, go seek outside sources. That includes other friends, maybe mutual friends, family that they might be close with, or even professional help, because you don't want to see your friend end up either hurt or dead. Plain and simple, you don't want that. So you have to take precaution and don't tread lightly, man. So in conclusion, behind closed doors, please tell me how you feel in the comments. I want to know how this episode affected you. Did you learn something new? Have you gone through anything similar to this, or has anybody else in your life been gone through this? Share the video, like the video, subscribe to my channel. Just leave a comment, say hey if you want to. Also, just to leave on a note, when faced with these situations, approach them carefully and bring the correct amount of energy. Don't down the person who is going through it, because they can easily be you at any time. Because like we said in the beginning, just because you don't think it happened to you don't mean it won't, because it can. And learn to be understanding and learn how to provide it, especially with those who are going through a tough time. Yeah, so that is all that I have on today's topic. So if you want to follow me on social media, all that information will be here and down there in the description box below. So again, I am Taisha, and I promise I won't bite my tongue. Bye.